Good evening, everyone. In our previous class, we have seen about operators and expressions, various types of operators. We have seen about conversion of data from one type to another. We have seen about implicit and explicit type conversion both. In today's class, we will learn about control statements. So if you have not yet watched the previous videos, you please watch all of them for you to get a better understanding, in-depth understanding about the topics. In today's class, we'll see control statements. So what is control statement is, the flow of execution of any program is always sequential, means the instructions will be executed one by one. Okay, so each and every instruction, it will be executed. And sometimes we will be in a situation wherein we don't want to execute all the instructions. We will have to check some condition. Based on the validity of that condition, we might have to decide which set of instructions to execute. Suppose this condition is true, I want to execute this set of instructions. Suppose the condition is false, then I would like to execute some other set of instruction. So based on the true or the trueness of a particular situation or value of a variable, I would like to decide which set of instructions to execute. Or sometimes based on a condition, I would like to skip certain statements. So these things alters the flow of execution of a program. And also we might have a certain situation wherein we might have to repeat a certain procedure again and again until a particular condition is satisfied, or as long as the condition is true, we will have to keep repeating the same execution again and again. So in all such situations, we have to alter the normal sequential flow of execution of a program. For this, we will be using decision control statements. So in decision control statements, we have two categories. One is branching statements, that is decision control and branching, and the other one is decision control and looping. So in decision control and branching statements, there will be multiple blocks of statement. Out of that, only one block of statement will get executed, and we will have to decide, basically the program will decide which set of statements to be executed. So you will have multiple blocks of statements. At least two blocks of statements might be present, and we choose which one to execute. Okay, one of them is executed. So one of the blocks of statements will be executed. Or we might have a set of statements. Based on a particular condition, we might decide whether to execute it or not. In such situations, we will make use of if-else statement or switch statement, which comes under decision control and branching statements. The next one is decision control and looping statements. Here we check a condition. As long as the condition is true, as long as the condition is valid, we keep on repeating a set of instructions. So here a set of instructions or a block of instructions are executed repeatedly. For certain number of times, or it might be like we might check a condition, and as long as the condition is valid, the set of instructions will be executed. Now when it comes to decision control and branching, we have various versions of if-else statement and switch statement. We'll just see one by one. And then under loops, we have three types of loops, that is while loop, do while loop and for loop. First thing that we will be learning is branching statements. So as I told you, we will have multiple blocks of statements, and we will be deciding which statement to use or which block of statements to execute. So for that, we will be using branching statement. In this, first one we have is if-else statement. So in if-else statement, we have various versions. Understand when to use each one. Okay. So the first one we have is simple if-else. Simple if-else. In simple if-else, I'll write the syntax here, and simultaneously I'll also write the example. So syntax is if, write a condition. Here the condition is going to be your logical or relational expression. If condition we have a set of statements here, else we have another set of statements here. Okay, if the condition is true, then this set of statements will get executed. It is called as true block. If the condition is false, then this true block statements will be skipped, and directly whatever is there in else block, that is false block, that will be executed. Okay, let us understand this with a simple example. Let us assume we have a variable, we write a program to find out whether a given number is positive or negative. Now there is a variable called num, and we have entered some value. Using scanf statement, we have stored that value in the variable num. Now I have to check if num is greater than 0. Okay, if num is greater than 0, printf positive. Else printf negative. So we are going to check whether the number is greater than 0 or not. See, here there is a possibility that if it is equal to 0 also, it is going to print negative. We will write a more refined program later. Okay, so now in this example, first this condition is checked. If the condition is true, the program will execute this true block statements, and it will not execute whatever is there in this else block. If this condition is false, then all the instructions that is present in this true block will be skipped, and whatever is there in the else block, this is false block, these instructions will be executed. Here there are certain things that you need to remember. If you have only one statement, okay, understand, see I have written multiple statements here, right? If you have only one statement for if block or else block, then brackets are not necessary. Okay, so curly braces are necessary only for multiple statements. Okay, multiple statements. If it is just one statement, then this brackets are not necessary. You can just write like this. Okay, but anyways I will write this bracket to make you understand what is true block and what is false block. Now only one of this will be executed, both will not get executed. This is simple if else statement. If I have two blocks, if it is true, this should be executed. If it is false, something else should be executed. Then we make use of simple if else statement. Okay, so the next version of if else is ladder if else. Okay, ladder if else statement. So in ladder if else statement, you keep on writing multiple else if conditions, right? First condition you check, if it's not true you check one more condition, if that is also not true you will check yet another condition. So you keep on checking many conditions, and for each condition you have a set of statements, those are true. So let me write a syntax for this. So here I'll write if condition 1. Okay, this is one set of statements that you have to execute. Suppose this condition is false, else we check one more condition, condition 2. If this is true, this set of instructions will be executed. Else if condition 3, you can write any number of else ifs like this. This is called as ladder if else statement, and finally we will end it up with the final else block. Okay, so this is the final else block. If none of the above conditions are true, then this will be executed. So here understand how this works. If any one of the condition becomes true, all of them will be skipped. There is a possibility that second and third condition might also be true, but once first condition becomes true and this gets executed, the further conditions, whether it is true or false, the compiler will not even check the condition. So the order in which you place these conditions are important. So based on the order you are going to get appropriate result. If none of these conditions are false, then this final else block will get executed. For the same example that we had taken before, that is finding whether a given number is positive or negative, we will write using ladder if else by checking one more condition, that is what if it is equal to 0, right? So if num is greater than 0. Here, since there is only one statement, I am not writing the curly braces. Printf positive, else if num is less than 0, because there is a possibility that it might be equal to 0 also, right? So we will write else if printf negative. Now it is not greater than 0 and it is not less than 0 also. Suppose both are false, then it has to be equal to 0, right? So I'll write else printf 0. Okay, so here I have three branches basically. If num is greater than 0, this printf statement will be executed. This else if and this else completely will be skipped. If this false, if this num greater than 0 is false, only then the compiler will go to this part, this condition. If this condition is true, then this one will be executed and this will be skipped. And if it is false, then directly the compiler comes here, and there is no further if condition. Means if none of the above conditions are true, then we are supposed to execute this one. Okay, so I will give one more example for ladder if else statement, that is printing grade of a student. Okay, so let us assume we are going to print grade of a student. We have some average marks, we have some variables, we have calculated what is the average and all that. I am not writing that instructions now. I am only writing the if else part of the program, and I will be making many small videos for all the popular programs that will be present in almost all the universities, and those will be important for interviews also. Okay, some of the techniques that we use and some of the small details will be very important for interviews. So I would suggest you to go through all the programming videos. Already we have a couple of videos now. I'll be uploading more videos on how to solve a given program, but right now this is a set of instructions used to determine grade of a student, but I am not writing the actual code where we ask the user to enter marks and then we calculate what is average. That I am not writing. We will assume all that is ready, all that is done. Okay, if average is greater than equal to 85, I will print A plus grade. Okay, so suppose this is my what do you say, suppose this is the specification given in the question. Okay, average is greater than equal to 85, we will print A plus grade. If average is greater than equal to 70, then we will say it is A grade, and if it is greater than equal to 60, then B grade. If it is greater than equal to say 50, we will say C grade. Lesser than that, that is if average is less than 50, then we will say fail. Okay, something like this. So now we have average calculated readily. Now we will write ladder if else statement to determine the same. So what is my first condition? If average greater than equal to 85, printf A plus grade. Okay, else if, so note there is an else space if. Okay, not elif. Elif is there in different language, not in C programming. Else space if average greater than equal to 70, will print A grade. Else if average greater than equal to 60, printf B grade. Else if, you have to write it in the same line, else and if average greater than equal to 50, printf C grade. Else, that is the last one. For last one you don't have to write this particular thing. It's not necessary to write for the last. If none of the above conditions were true, it means he has scored less than 50 only, then we will print fail. Okay, So here only one of these will be executed. If you observe, any marks that is greater than 85 is also greater than 70, 60. So you have to understand, once a condition becomes true, further conditions will not even be checked. If this condition is true, then compiler will execute this instruction and directly it will go to any instruction that is present after this final else. Compiler will not even check whether the other conditions are true or false, whether how many else if is present. The compiler will not even bother. So once a particular condition is true, execute the set of statements belonging to that particular block and directly go to the final statement or the statement that is there after the final else block. If the condition is false, then this will be skipped and the compiler will go to this condition. If this condition is also false, then this instruction belonging to this condition is skipped and the compiler will directly go to this condition. So when one condition is false, it will jump to the next condition and skip all the instructions in between. If the condition is true, it will execute one instruction or the set of instructions present immediately after the condition and all the further conditions will be skipped. Okay, so this is ladder if else statement. Next, the one more version that we have is, one more version of if else statement is nested if else. Okay, so what is this nested if else statement is? It is one if else inside another if else statement, that is called as nested if else statement. So here I'll write the syntax. If, so you have condition 1. If this condition is true, this is true block, right? And then else, this is your false block. Here inside this if else, if you have one more if else, that is called as nested if else. Okay, hope this is clear. So one if else inside another if. Now inside else also you may or may not have if else. It's not compulsory that you need to have if else inside both if and else block, not necessary. You might have if else inside only if block, or you might have if else inside only else block. It's all based on the program requirement. So it is very flexible. So that is why C programming became very popular and is still being popular, because the programming is very flexible. You can write the conditions as per your requirement. There are only certain syntax that you need to follow. Otherwise, you can modify as per your requirement, as per the program's logic's requirement, you can modify this. Now, why we call it as nested if else? Because we have written one if else inside another if else, and here one if else inside another else. Here inside if we have written. Okay, so this is called as the outer if block. Okay, so this is the outer if block and this is your outer else block, and basically this is your outer if else and this is your inner if else block, and this is also another inner if else. Now as you already know, if this condition is true, this I'll write it as condition 2. If this condition is true, only then compiler will enter inside this if loop, if statement, and here you have another condition. This will also be checked. If this is also true, this will be executed. If this is false, then this will be executed. Here also, see, here we have 4 blocks: inner true block, inner false block, again inner true block, and we have one inner false block. Okay, so we have 4 blocks of statement. In this 4 blocks of statement, only one will get executed. If this condition is true, condition 1 is true, then if condition 2 is also true, then this will be executed and all other blocks will be skipped. If the condition 2 is false, then this will be executed and this complete else block will be skipped because this if was true. If this if is false, then compiler will not check whatever is there inside this if statement. Condition 2 will not even be checked. Directly the compiler goes to this else and here this condition will be verified. Okay, so this we can use when we have one main condition. If the condition is true, we have to further check one more condition. If the condition is false, then we have to check something else. Okay, so in such situations we can make use of this. Best example for this one is to find greatest of three numbers. So observe how we have written. First I'll check if A is greater than B. Okay, assume we have three numbers A, B and C, and for all three numbers we have given the input using scanf statement. Now if all these three numbers are once entered, now first I'll check whether A is greater than B. If it is true, then I'll check whether A is greater than C also. If that is also true, then A is going to be your greatest number. Suppose A is greater than B but it is not greater than C, then C is going to be the greatest number. Okay, so that is what we are going to check here. So if A is greater than B, then I check whether A is greater than C as well. If yes, then I display A is the greatest number. Else, see, A is greater than B means B is definitely not the greatest number. Then when I compare A and C, A is not greater than C means C is further greater than A, right? So the greatest number is going to be C. Okay, this is if A is greater than B. Suppose A greater than B itself is false. Suppose the first number is not the greatest number, it is false. Then I check, else I check whether B is greater than C. Because A is not greater than B, it means A is not the greatest number. Now I need to find out among B and C which is the greatest. So if B is greater than C, then print B is greater, else print C is greater. So here if you observe, we have if else inside both if as well as else. This is called as nested if else statement. So hope you understood when to use each format of if else. I have explained clearly with multiple examples. Here in all these things you have to understand this final else block is optional. It's not compulsory to have the final else block. Okay, if you have final else block, it means if none of the previous conditions are true, this else block will be executed. If you don't have this else block, then nothing will be executed if none of those conditions are true. So many situations you will not have an else block. That is, if it is true, if this condition is true, execute this, that's all. If it is false, what to execute is not necessary to be present every time. In such situations, it is not necessary to have the final else block. So whether it is simple if else, ladder if else, or so this is optional. So final else block is always optional. Okay, and in nested if else also, this else is optional, and inside else also this else is optional, and you may or may not have this also. This is also optional. Okay, like you can have, if this condition is true, further you can check one more condition, but there is nothing in else block, so that is also possible. So these are various versions of if else statements. So next one that we have is switch statement. Now switch statement is also very similar to our ladder if else. So what is ladder if else? We have so many conditions, we have just stacked up the conditions, right, in ladder if else. So if this condition is true, this is your first one, this is your second one. We don't have one inside other like nested if else. If it is just one after the other, we have a step of conditions. Now if the first condition is true, this will be executed and everything else will be skipped. If the first condition is false, only then the compiler will go and check the second condition. So similar to this is our switch statement. In switch statement, I'll first write the syntax for switch statement. So switch is a keyword. Inside this we will usually write one expression or a variable. Okay, let me take variable only. And this is going to be an integer variable or a character variable only. You cannot have float kind of instructions, or you cannot have relational or logical expressions. It must be, this variable must be integer or int or char variable. Okay, so it's going to be int or char variable only, variable, or it can be an expression also, because if we have char expression, if we have addition of two variables, it will be actually converted to int only. Okay, we cannot have relational or logical expressions. We cannot have relational expressions as greater than, less than. Logical expression is a greater than b and a greater than c kind of expressions. So we cannot have relational logical expressions. We cannot have variables which has floating point values here. Okay, it should be only int or character variables or expressions that can be present as part of this uh, expression in switch statement. Then we have case. Case is again a keyword. After this we are going to write the number in case of integer values, or we will write character constant. So basically here we need to write integer constants or character constants. If it is integer constant, we will just write the numbers like this. If it is character constant, then we will have with single quotes we will write like this: case A, case E. Suppose we want to count number of vowels. Okay, so like this we have, if it is character constant, remember clearly, if it is character constant, you have to write a character variable within single quotes like this. If it is an integer constant, then write the numbers directly. Now here write the set of instructions that is to be executed. No need of brackets and all that. You have to write the set of instructions to be executed, and then write a break. Again here, whatever set of instructions needs to be executed, you write them. Next is a break. Again case 3, set of instructions, break. So you can write any number of cases based on the number of values that occurs for a particular variable. So you can write any number of cases like this, and similar to your final else block there, that is if none of the conditions were true, then the final else block will get executed, right? Similarly here, if none of the conditions are true, then we have a default case. So this default will be executed, and no break required in the end of this, because anyways we have encountered the end of the statement. Okay, here should we write 1 2 3 only? Not necessary. You can write 10 20 30. Whatever value this variable might take, those are what you are going to write here. So it is same as writing if a equals to 1, execute this instruction, else if a equals to 2. Okay, so this is same as writing this ladder if else statement. Here, can you replace all programs that are written using ladder if else using switch? No, you cannot. You can replace only those programs which are written using ladder if else. If you want to replace it using switch statement, you can do it only if all the conditions are equality conditions. See here, I am checking a equals to 3. Okay, so a equals to 1, a equals to 2, and a equals to 3 is there. Only if the variable is equal to something, if you have like this, then this particular set of instructions you can replace ladder if else and you can rewrite it using switch. But in the previous example we had written, no, for ladder if else we had written like this: num greater than 0, less than 0, and equal to 0. And here we had c greater than equal to 85, greater than equal to 70. In such situations, you cannot replace this using switch. You can replace a ladder if else instruction to a switch statement only if this greater than equal to, less than equal to, and all you can't replace. If it is exactly equal to symbol, then you can rewrite it using switch statement. So though both look similar, you have to understand when you have to use each one. Only if it is an equality condition, you can make use of switch statement. If it is any other condition like greater than equal to, less than equal to, not equal to, and all that, then you have to make use of ladder if else only. And here in switch statement you can't write all those relational expressions or logical expression. So then when do we use this type of switch statement is like if you have to count how many vowels are there in the program. Okay, you give a sentence. In that sentence, how many vowels are there, or how many A's and how many E's are there? So if you have to count like that, then you can make use of such character constants, have some variables and keep incrementing them. Or if you have multiple programs to multiple logics to execute, say for example, you write a program to find area of triangle. Okay, so you write a program to find area of triangle, and then area of circle, and then area of rectangle. Okay, so you have one program to find area of various geometrical shapes. In such situation, we can make use of switch statement. We can write printf statements, printf 1 area of triangle, 2 area of circle. Like that, we can give options to the user based on what the user enters. Suppose user enters 2. It means he wants to find area of a circle. Then find out what all data is required to find area of a circle. What data is required? We need to know what is the radius. So once we know the radius, we can find area of the circle. If I have to find area of triangle, then I will choose option 1. So if the user chooses option 1, that is case 1, then it means the user wants to find area of a triangle. So ask the user to enter the length and height of the triangle, and length and breadth of the triangle, and accordingly you can use the formula and find out what is the area of triangle. So this break is again not compulsory. This break is optional. If you don't use this break, then once a case is true, once one case becomes true, then all the instructions from that point onwards keeps on executing until there is a break. So if you leave off this break, then whether the case is 1, suppose the user enters as 1, then the compiler will execute these instructions followed by instructions of case 2 also. Then it breaks because there is a break here. Okay, suppose if this break is not there, even if you enter option 1, compiler is going to execute both the instructions for option 1 as well as option 2 because there is no break here. Sometimes that might be required, like here when you have to find out, count the number of vowels and each vowel's occurrence. Then whether it is small a or capital A, you're going to say that this many A's, this many E's, this many I's, right? So in such case, you can write case small a and case capital A. For both of them, you can have one variable called A and you can increment that. For case E and case capital E, you can have one, so here you can break. If it is small e or capital E, you are going to increment the variable E. Okay, so like this you can, if you want to execute same set of instructions for multiple values, then this will be useful. You don't have to write break between those cases. Just write multiple cases whichever has same set of instructions to execute, and then finally you write one break. If you have separate instructions for each case, then make sure you write a break statement before you begin every case. So more programs on switch statement and if else statement I will be posting on regular basis in the channel. So keep watching it regularly. And so that's it for today's class. In tomorrow's class, we will see about loops. I'll explain about all the three loops, while, do while and for loop, differences between them, how to decide when to use each one of them. So that details with certain examples also we'll be seeing in tomorrow's class. So if you have not yet subscribe to the channel and share it among your friends. And if you have any comments or feedbacks, like you can put it in the comment section, so that for us to improve our videos, or any specific thing if you are expecting from us, or the frequency or the specific programs if you're expecting, if you post it here, we will be trying to do those classes also. And if you have not yet joined, I have posted the link for our Telegram channel and the WhatsApp group also in the description below. So click on them and you can join that for the notes. Regularly I'll be giving the notes also, and programs also. For all the soft copy of the programs will also be posted in the Telegram channel, so make sure you join it. Okay, and watch out for the community tab section of this channel. I'll be posting polls every now and then, and what I have observed is none of you comment below it. it would be better if you can also comment how you get that particular option. So you are just selecting the option, whichever is the correct answer, you are selecting it. If you post why you are selecting that answer also, then if there is any wrong, if there is any mistake in understanding, in your understanding to solve that particular question, that also I can reply back with where is the mistake, so that you can, it's easy for you to correct the mistakes also. Okay, then see you in tomorrow's class. Bye bye.